Hey, good afternoon, and welcome to the Key Hire Small Business Podcast and live stream. My name is Corey Harlock. I'm the creator of Key Hire. And however you're joining us today, whether you're listening to our podcast or watching the live stream or checking out on YouTube, we are happy to have you along and happy to have you listening. While you're there, we post content twice a month. So if you want to stay up to date on what we're doing, or make sure you're getting it into your feed, follow us make sure you're following our channel or subscribing to our YouTube channel or subscribing to the podcast or just checking in with us on any of those main podcast broadcasters or YouTube to see what we have going on in the world. I was just listening to the intro music. It's very mellow. I don't know if it's me or not. We might have to change it up. I'm a bit of a classic rock guy, but maybe we'll do a poll to see what people think of the waiting room music. New view. We've switched things up here. New year, new view. This is what the other side of my office looks like here at home in Houston. Super excited about the show today. We have Rainee Busby with us, who is one of the top EOS implementers in the country. I'm fortunate enough to have known Rainee for, I think about 7 years now. She can correct me when she comes on here. We belonged to a business group years and years ago when I first came here, and she was one of the first people I met. Super impressive, super effective, and she's going to give us the good, the bad, the ugly, the ins and outs of the what EOS is, the Entrepreneurial Operating System, and we're going to have a good conversation around that. As always, if you have any questions that you have for Rainee, you want to know about EOS, fire them into the chat box. We'll get Matt to throw them up here, and we'll make sure we ask or we get Rainee to answer those for you. So enough of me blabbing here. Matt, can we bring Rainee in? Hey, Rainee.
Hi, Corey. Good to see you as always. Good.
Feel like we haven't seen each other live and in person in forever.
I know, we need to do something about that.
We got to get a lunch on the books or something.
Absolutely.
Is it 7 years? I think it's 7 or 8.
Yes, because I will be implementing EOS with companies 7 years. So I started in 2015. So
that's about right. Yeah.
Getting ready to head into 8 years, which is crazy. It doesn't seem like that long, but yes.
It is nuts, right? And so you've been an EOS implementer for 8 years. Super highly regarded. EOS is, why don't we jump into it then?
Okay.
And as we go, we can, because we keep talking about this EOS thing, and people are probably like, okay, what is it, right? So give us the 30,000 foot overview on EOS and why, if I was a small business owner, it's something I would want to seriously consider.
Yeah, absolutely. So EOS stands for the Entrepreneurial Operating System. It is, I didn't know you were supposed to use an operating system for your business. I would have done that many years ago than being an entrepreneur. But it's really a way to kind of leverage a set of powerful tools and a model that works perfect for entrepreneurial businesses. So it enables you to really get what you want out of your business. And so many people struggle with sometimes defining what that is. But we like to say it really enables you to achieve 3 things, and that's vision, traction, and healthy. So vision means getting everybody in the organization 100% laser focused where we're going and how we're going to get there. The traction side, that's discipline and execution, right? So making sure that we're holding people accountable and really focusing on making that vision reality. And then last part is healthy. So we have to have a healthy organization, and it starts with a leadership team. So I coach leadership teams. And I start with these high-performing individual, amazing people, and I bring them into this high-performing team. So it's that evolution that's super cool. So once we get the leadership team all ready to go, then we roll out EOS Love to everybody. And so it really is a way to create operational excellence from the beginning of your business all the way through to the end. It just makes business fun.
So you've worked with, how many business owners would you say you've worked with in the last 8 years? Roughly. I know you probably don't have an exact number, but...
Well, so it's well over 70 different companies. Leadership team numbers, geez, I don't know, but I have implemented, I was just counting up my sessions. So far, 362 sessions to date that I've delivered, and that's full day sessions.
That's so cool. And so now people are thinking, what the heck's a session? How does this work? If I do EOS, what I got to take sessions. What does a session look like?
Yeah, so it's an all-day event with me. So I get to share all my
two
wisdom.
for the price of one. You get to
Yeah,
hang out with you and learn about EOS. It's a good
yeah.
deal.
So I work directly with the leadership team, and I am basically a facilitator. So I'm making sure we stay on agenda and read the people in the room and all the wonderful dynamics that happens when humans are together. I'm also a business advisor, and I'm an educator. So I'm helping you learn how to use the system, simplifying it, connect the dots, and making sure we apply it to each individual business based on what they need. But we implement Pure across every single business, and it is really amazing how fast it works and how effective it is, and just transformational change. And that's why I love what I do, because I sit there and watch this transformation. And I mean, it's magical. It feeds all my rewards and why I, really that purpose that I have in my life.
Well, I've been fortunate to get to kind of come in behind you after you do all this work with KeyHire. And that's what's kind of really cool about our relationship is you lay out the roadmap, and then we kind of come in behind them and just kind of shape and mold and maybe put a little finer point on some of the things you do, not all of them, because you guys do some pretty specific stuff. Oh man, I was so excited. I forgot where I was going. So you're working with people. Oh, so give us an outline of, if I started with EOS, what's step 1, step 2, step 3? How does it fold out for me as a business owner? What can I expect when working with an implementer?
Yeah. So the first thing I think that's important is to really define if it's going to work for each individual business. And as an implementer, I will help you kind of through that decision making. We do that with a 90-minute, really an EOS discovery session. It's an opportunity for me to get in front of the leadership team, and we kind of get to know each other and vet the waters and see if it's a fit. But we're really looking for teams that are they're open and honest, healthy, want to be vulnerable, they want to do something different, and the owner wants to empower the leadership team, which they're a member of, to run the business. So if the owner wants to still be that kind of I'm in charge and I call the shots, you're going to limit the size of your business. So that's a really key part. If you're ready for that, then let's sit down. We'll spend about an hour and a half together. I'll show you all elements of the EOS model and the process, how it's implemented. I'll capture all the things that aren't working in your business, so I can say, oh, this is how we would fix this. Here's how we would fix, and here's the tools that you can plug and play, so they can get a really good idea if it's going to be a fit or not. And then the next step is let's get a session scheduled, and it's no contract. So we can just start with one session. I offer 100% guarantee. So if they don't believe I delivered the value, don't pay me. We walk away friends. So I reduce the risk considerably, and I basically become a member of the leadership team.
And I know a lot of these business owners, they almost get addicted to the process. Like when I've come in behind you, they're like, and a lot of them are like, we could probably, and I think the term used is like graduate, right? And do this without our implementer. But they're like, we like having our implementer around so much, and we love our all-day meetings with them, and they're so effective. Like we just keep them going. We keep rolling with this because they get the results they want. It's a great relationship. It sounds complicated, but it's deceptively simple, right?
Yeah,
is that fair to say?
Absolutely. So this practice has been around for hundreds of years, really. It's simple business 101. And we've just put the model together. Gino Wickman is the founder. He's the author of Book Traction. Put the model together.
Hold on. Promo for you, Rainee. I told you I was ready.
There you go. Book Traction. That is what I consider your textbook, right? Here is a book that is, this one will help you understand what it's like going through an implementation with an implementer, such as myself. So I'm Alan in there. But basically it's me working with the leadership team. We uncover everything. We pull it. We figure out all the issues. What's slowing us down? What's getting in our way? What are we missing? So we build that solid foundation. And people like you, who part of my network is what I call trusted providers, and they provide critical services. I found out we have a gap here. We need a new finance person. Maybe we need a fractional marketing, which has been very popular this last year or so. I just finished all my annual sessions which is a really good, I think I have a lot of calls coming in right now because people are thinking, well, it's 2023 snuck up on us. I don't have a plan in place. I'm not really sure what to do. And then we have economics challenges. We have inflation. We have a recession coming, which I'm hearing is going to be 2024. So being able to pivot.
They keep delaying the recession. They're pushing it back. Oh, we're going to delay the recession another quarter,
I know. It depends on who you talk to, but the ability to be able to quickly pivot and change and get the leadership team online, that's the secret. I've had, clients tell me that if it wouldn't have been for EOS, they wouldn't have made it through the pandemic. And I mean, we're talking a $30 million business that went down to like 10 million, just bare bones. Yeah. And here it is, she just closed out a year and I think they had like 40 some $1 million. So, but it was able to downsize and be ready for when it came back up. And that just gives me goosebumps when I hear stories like that.
And I think I've experienced people, especially EOS people, that have had their coming out of that whole craziness, the best year they've ever had.
Yes. Yeah.
Like record-setting years, which is so cool, right?
Yeah, well, and I think to add to that is, when we had the pandemic, it was actually a slow time. I launched quite a few clients then, which was surprising. At first, it was crickets, because everybody was freaking out, and then I had quite a few new clients coming on, and what I'm kind of telling folks to think about is, okay, we've got this recession, it's going to happen, right? We just don't know when, but right now we're already seeing, the inflation is causing some impacts to the business. So with this slowdown, this is the perfect time to get EOS started. Take advantage of not being, going like, crazy on your railroad track, trying to deliver all your products and services and hit guide your goals and what have you. Let's slow down a little bit, implement EOS. Then you'll be ready when it comes back up. It's like flip the switch and away you go.
Yeah. It's almost like it's a little reprieve. You actually have time to do your homework, right?
Instead of just
right, going crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Get your homework done. I have to say that often.
So here, when I first thought of bringing you on, the first thing that triggered me was someone had emailed me or messaged me and said, maybe a good topic for you to do would be the importance of putting together an annual plan.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, that's a great topic. And then my next thought was immediately, Rainee would be great to answer that question. So yes. Let me kind of throw that at you. What is the importance in the EOS world or in the business world of creating a plan, but then also putting the tools in place to monitor that plan? And maybe give us some micro examples of what that would look like.
Sure. So annual season, as I just mentioned, this is like the end of September to about the end of January, where I'm getting together with clients. We had an existing 1-year plan. We look at that. How did we do last year? Goals are done or not done, right? So this is where we're checking off the boxes. How do we hit our revenue, profitability, other measurables? And then how do we do each quarter on our rocks? Company rocks are how we execute to the 1-year plan, which is where most companies struggle. It's easy to put a plan together, not so easy to make it real, make it happen, right? Bring it down to the rubber hits the road. And so during this process, on annual, we do SWOT analysis to really pull out what are those big opportunities, maybe some weaknesses we really need to get addressed this year. And that helps us come up with 5 to 7 really solid, move the needle, meaty goals for this next year. Plus we'll do revenue projections and things like that. And then you get in this 90-day mental cadence. How are we going to move each one of those goals forward? And what are we going to do this next 90 days? And so you break down company rocks, and you can just watch the execution, intentional execution to the 1-year plan. So if someone does not have a 1-year plan, that would be my recommendation. Do a SWOT analysis, circle anything that looks like it's something we can leverage for this year, and then start to prioritize it, and then make sure your goals are smart. What are we going to do specifically? How are we going to measure? What's done look like? And then execute every 90 days. Make sure you're refreshed. Kind of how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? And that's really, it can be that simple. Now we go through a lot more, prep work. What's our 10-year target? Big, hairy, audacious, crazy goal. Jim Collins. We put together a 3-year picture, which is visualizing what we look like in 3 years. And so we have other things that we bake in there, but that's kind of the basics of 1-year plan.
Very cool. All right, well, let's shift gears. So now we understand kind of what EOS is and the importance of it. And it's a very established, straightforward, simple to use system.
Yes.
If you use it. So in your experience, what have been the biggest mistakes people have made when either implementing, or I'm almost envisioning like they've run it for a little while and they think, oh, we know how this works. What are the biggest mistakes you've seen business owners make when it comes to maximizing the probabilities of the program?
Yeah. So yes, EOS is a very simple model, but sometimes we have to make really tough decisions, especially people decisions. So one of the mistakes would be we don't want to talk about the elephant in the room, right? A person that we know we need to let go. I've had some clients hold on to that elephant for a couple years. And so that's probably one of the characteristics that I'll see. Some people like to self-implement. We estimate 170,000 plus companies worldwide. We're in 20 countries now. Are self-implementing. They buy the book Traction and they put a couple of the tools in place, which absolutely helps. So if you can't afford an implementer, I recommend you do that, but you're not going to be great at it. We have professional training. We have to go to quarterly events to always sharpen our tools. So we are masters in what we do.
Sure.
And also many times you're just too close to the problem. They can't see it. When I come in, I can say, well, here's what I can tell you that I see right now. Here's what another client did that might work. And here's another option for you to consider. It's your business, right? So I help them kind of make those decisions. But I will tell you, I have a lot of clients that started self-implementing. They didn't do it exactly right because the book's not going to tell you everything.
Yeah.
And, it's just so much work. And can they really afford that distraction of trying to learn it? And they have to take them back to the beginning and start over again. So kind of to my point earlier, you don't have to sign up for a whole bunch of sessions. You can say, I want to just start with the first one. And then go to the second one and go to so just leverage an implementer. I mean, we know what we're doing. We're kind of bringing you not only how to help your business, but all this industry knowledge. And usually there's people dynamics in the room that are some of the things we need to get solved, right? So it's mentioning that leadership team coming together as one fine-tuned machine in a dragon boat. Everybody's hitting that cadence, all going in the same direction versus little rowboats where they're all kind of hoping they're kind of heading in the right direction.
Yeah. So that's right. So I mean, you guys have so many reps, right? How many sessions did you say you've run?
362.
Yeah. So that's, you know what to look for, right? The book, that would be a pretty dense book if you were to cram over 300 sessions, or if you took all the implementers, hundreds of thousands of sessions into a book, right?
Yeah.
That's the stuff you can't get out of a book. The one thing I've always been super impressed with is, when I kind of come in behind you is and you alluded to it, the awareness of the leadership team. Like people will step up and say, yeah, that's me. I'm the problem. I'm not good at that. Where if they haven't gone through EOS, they might not have. And this is the key word I've discovered. Tell me if you agree. If you're going to have success working with someone, if they have the humility to say, yeah, I don't know how to do that. I'm the roadblock here. Get me out of the way and let someone else do it.
Yeah. That or also vulnerability.
That's a good one too.
For help. Sure. I need help. I can't do this by myself. And it's amazing to watch the team where they're all kind of in their individual on their own islands. And then somebody raises their hand and said, I need help. And then next thing you know, they're all like, I got some bandwidth. How can I help? Let's, and it's so beautiful to watch, but it's that transformation. And you mentioned about an implementer, really it's about a 2-year journey. It's about 18 months to 2 years to where you really master the tools. You'll slow down a little bit because we have to grow inside before we're ready to grow outside. But, 10 sessions, 2 years, it is such, I have clients tell me that their ROI and investment is probably 100 times because of just optimization. People, how much money how much money we spend on people, poor hires, and not getting them clear on what they're supposed to do and what they're accountable to. We take care of all that. So we really give them every tool they need.
But there's so much, there's even the things you can't put a price tag on, like peace of mind, a good night's sleep. knowing that you've identified and put the people in the right seats and you're learning to or have started to trust them to do their job, and you don't need to stay up and worry about it.
That's right. That's right. Delegate to elevate themselves, inspect what you expect, right? You don't just delegate and say, hands off.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, those are some of the terms that we use in helping leaders to become effective. But I'll tell you, whether it's family-owned businesses, nonprofits, it's so sad when I'm talking to someone and they're like, "Well, we haven't taken a vacation in 5 years. I don't even know what my kids look like anymore." Breaks my heart, right? But boy, it doesn't take long. Next thing you know, they're taking a 1 week vacation, and then it's 3 weeks vacation, and then 2 weeks of completely disconnected. You're not even going to get a hold of me. I'm on this cruise ship somewhere out in the middle of the ocean, and that.
And the business is still running. No fires, no nothing.
I know. And that's why, it's about the leadership team running the business.
Yeah.
And plus it increases the value of your business. So for those thinking about exit strategy, they're possibly selling the business or selling it to the employees, whatever that is. It increases the value because if somebody has to buy the owner and the business, they're going to reduce the value because that's a risk. And so having a high performing team, it's cool stuff.
Yeah. And that's what I find too. When you can give them the tools and the knowledge, and from us specifically, bringing in that expertise in certain areas of the business where they can have the humility and vulnerability to say, they know this area of the business better than I do. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to let them do what they do, right? I'll put some KPIs in place to manage that and monitor it, but
sure.
I'm gonna listen to them and let them run their show and see how I can support them and help them.
Yeah, absolutely. I use a lot of sports analogies because business is a game. And so, we want to take a good company, right? Business is not for broken companies, a good company that's ready to be a champion, ready to be, the good, the great kind of terminology. And it is so true to watch them completely transform. It changes every aspect of the business. It attracts talent. So if you're having problems finding, I know you, Corey, it's a lot easier to get a candidate interested if they have a healthy company and then EOS, because it's so popular now. Employees want to work for other EOS companies. They don't want to go back into that crazy land that they.
Well, heck, there's people that are specializing in being EOS integrators. That's their job. And they just are hired guns and they go work 2, 3, 5 years at a crazy growing company, integrate, and say, okay, well, what's next, right?
Like,
it's crazy. That's that they have their own kind of specialists out, like freelance specialists, right? Out there, like you, helping them integrate or implement.
Mm-hmm.
I always mix up the terminology.
I know.
But then you hire an integrator. I mean, we worked with you to do integrators before, whether they knew they were an integrator or not. But some people are out there advertising themselves as EOS integrators.
Yes, there are huge organizations now that are coming together. It's just a collection of, I'm on the advisory board, Female Integrator Mastermind. Right.
Oh, cool.
So this is like 150 lady integrators across the country, maybe across the world. I don't know, but you got to talk about some energy in the room, and it's amazing. But I think the importance of leveraging fractional experts, sort of like yourself, right? I need a marketing strategy. I need a marketing executive, not digital marketing. And then you can leverage a fractional marketing leader to come in, put the strategy together, and then they kind of get back out of the business. And then the sales team can execute. And you can leverage digital media or digital marketing as well to do, the day-to-day postings and all that. But, you can get fractional financial people. I have a fractional CFO company. I also do strategic HR up in Austin. And they bring in fractional people to plug and play. And, if you need just a CFO for maybe 4 hours a month, they can help you with that and give you that advantage. Mostly large companies get to take advantage of, not the smaller ones. And so I make all those introductions to people. I'm like, here's a couple folks. I vetted them. I trust them. You decide, you take it from here. You figure out who you want to work with and go from there, which
Well, it's all part of it. I learned the word from you. I stole it from you. And that's going to be forever on tape in perpetuity. I'm going to go to jail now. But the capacity word, right? Like that, to me, we need experience. We need culture fit. We need all that stuff. But hiring someone with I mean, the example I always give is I run a $10 million a year business and my sales manager quits, and I say, great, or it's too bad they left, but now let's go after the sales manager from our competition. So you entice them over and they join your business, and a year later you say, how's business? $10 million. Well, that's because that business is a $10 million a year business too, and there's no capacity. When you hire people and you bring them in, and on day one, they're already maxed out in terms of what they can bring to your company.
That's right.
It's not a bad hire, but as a business owner, you need to understand that there's much more coaching and mentoring and or bringing people in. Like if you brought in a controller who was kind of out of capacity within your business, bringing in that fractional CFO to work with them 4, 6, 8 hours a month and develop them and stretch them out. And it's a long ROI on that investment. But if you really like the person and believe in them, it's a viable option, right? And
we talk about, what got you here. And I know you do this as well. It's not going to get you there, right? And so, right. We have a term, we say every 3 to 5 years, which is proven with science since 1960s, that every company will hit the ceiling every 3 to 5 years, which means what we were doing is not working anymore. And we start to work longer and harder. And we I can't tell you how many people I talk to that have been the same level of revenue for 20 years, right? Even longer.
Because they have a $10 million a year process. That's what they're working on.
Yeah, it's the owner that's we've got a bottleneck or two somewhere, right?
Correct. Yeah, there's some constraints in the business.
Yeah. So I actually have a client that they are getting ready to retire in a couple of years, and they're like, we're not playing this game anymore. They went out and completely replaced their entire leadership team with people. They brought the big guns in. And then I went in and said, okay, you're going to get a really fast EOS because they've already been running it. And, they're off to the races. I'm excited. I'm excited for them because this is an opportunity to really get the business ready to sell or once again, employee owned, whatever that is. But you have to make tough decisions. There's a lot of people that just can't step up like we need them to.
Yeah. And it's hard, right? I always go back to like these owners have put their blood, sweat, and tears into the company and got it where it is. And they've fallen into this, and it's totally expected, right? It's not out of the ordinary that you would fall into this trap of, I'm so important. I got us here. I carried this business on my shoulder to get us here. And they fall into that trap of, I have to move us forward, right? And I feel like sometimes the best thing they can do is like fire themselves and hire someone who's better than them to take them to the next level. But they feel this intense and immense responsibility to be the person to come up with all the ideas to move the company forward. And I guess, circling all the way back, EOS gives them those tools to go, you don't have to do that. Nor do we want you to do that, right? Look at all the talent in the room. How can we get everyone in order, set the right goals, monitor them correctly to get to that next level, and we'll do it as a team versus one person kind of calling all the shots.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And that's why I work with teams, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And if the owner doesn't want to delegate the responsibility and accountability and they want to continue to be micromanaging, and this is not going to work. And I tell people, this is not a really good fit for you. Here's some things I recommend, and call me. I'm always happy to help people. Anyone that even wants to self-implement, I'll jump on a phone call with you for a half hour and get you started. Happy to do that, free of charge. I love to give first. It warms my heart. And so, especially entrepreneurs, I've been one forever, and it's a tough road. It's not for everybody.
Correct. Okay, Rainee. So if I'm watching this or listening on the podcast and think, this sounds super cool, I want to learn more, or I want to get started, or I'm serious about getting started, what do I do?
So a couple different options. The books we mentioned before, there's actually, if you go out to eosworldwide.com, there's a resource
letters EOS. Matt, I'm putting you on the spot. EOS. Look at that. He's fast.
There.
Thanks, buddy.
So, eosworldwide.com. Go to the resource page. You will find podcasts. There's several awesome podcasts. You want to hear real live people that have been using this in their business and living the EOS life. There's a whole podcast for that. Podcast for Rocket Fuel, which is the practice of the visionary and integrator and how making them kind of that yin and yang is so powerful. There's also one about, strengthening your 6 key components. EOS leadership. That's a great podcast. I just drove up to Dallas and back, and I just podcast the whole way. Cool. Blogs, great blogs to follow. And so just so many ways to learn. Reach out to me. Happy to sit down with your team and talk about EOS. I can give you, I'll give you 90 minutes of my time and tell you everything you need to know. If you want to just jump on a quick call and ask some questions, you can reach out to me. Rainee.busby@eosworldwide.com. Or you can get me at Rainee.
Let's see how fast Matt is on that one.
Rainee.busby@eosworldwide.com.
He's panicking right now. I don't have that.
Or Rainee. We did it. Right? Or Rainee at RaineeBusby.com. So that's my, they'll take you to my space on EOS Worldwide. So once again, if you hear somebody talk about EOS and you're interested, I am an implementer. We have almost 600 implementers worldwide, 20 countries. It's growing like crazy. So even if you're thinking about maybe I would like to learn about being an implementer, give me a call. I'll kind of tell you the ins and outs and why I love what I do. And so, there's a couple of different ways that I can help.
A lot of you implementers are reformed entrepreneurs, right?
Yes, they are. They are actually, and that's so true. All implementers, for the most part, have entrepreneurial backgrounds. So we have walked in your shoes. We know the pain. we can speak to it from our heart. And so that's kind of the best person to have in the room with you, who truly understands it, rather than someone that's going to kind of speak to, what they watch in a video or read in a book. So we have lived it, and we're all running our own practices right now. So,
I think that gives you legitimacy for sure.
It does.
Cool. Well, Rainee, I've kept you longer than I promised. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today and sharing your knowledge and wisdom of EOS. I hope people found it useful, and we'll take you up on your offer to reach out to you and learn more and take a chance on a session and see what EOS is all about. I mean, it is the best of all the different things I've worked with. Small business owners try a lot of kooky, crazy stuff out there, and EOS is the most consistently positive system out there in terms of just running a good business and making more money.
I'm there with you, and having fun. It's about having fun, loving what you do. Yeah. And check out the EOS life. That's we have a whole practice, which I live the EOS life. Take off a couple months in the summer.
Yep.
So
you're always touring around in the summer somewhere.
I know, right? I worked hard to get there, so I help my clients do that same thing.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, Rainee. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you giving us your time today.
Appreciate you as well, Corey. Thanks so much for the opportunity, and look forward to hearing from folks in the audience.
Yeah, and we'll get a lunch on the books here soon.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
Thanks, Rainee. All right, there's Rainee Busby. She is the best, whether personal or professional, but she is an awesome EOS implementer, and so happy she gave us her time here today. So as we wrap up here, if you liked what you're seeing and you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe. We'd love to have you subscribe. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure you subscribe or follow us, so you get contents coming out twice a week. We're bringing on more guests now. We're kind of changing the format up a bit. You can get on our LinkedIn page, the Key Hire LinkedIn page, and see all of our social media updates, things like that. If you want to know more about Key Hire, you can reach out to me directly, or we have a sign up right on the website. So you can email me. You can schedule a free consultation right there, or you can just email me at corey@keyhire.solutions. Until next, in 2 weeks, we're still working on our guests. We have a couple ideas. I have something that might be really cool in terms of the private funding sector. See if we can make that happen. But we'll see you 2 Wednesdays from now. Till then, thanks for tuning in to the Key Hire Show for small business. We'll see you soon.